Good morning, everyone. Sensei is going to ring the kansho. So if you could please have a seat, we'll get started right away. And everybody out there in cyberspace, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm glad that you're all able to attend this beautiful Sunday morning for our Eitaikyo service, a very special service. So at this point, I'd like to thank Sensei for being here, Kyoko for the flowers, and Kathy for doing everything on the internet you can't see, Alan in the back with the cameras, and that's it right now. BWA for fixing otoki, that's even more important. But I'd like to just read a little bit, but do they have to stand up? I'm just reading from here.
No.
Okay, so I just want to read a little bit about what Eitaikyo Service means and why it is so special. And I'm just reading it from our Gatha book. So this is about Eitaikyo and why we are here, and some of you are here to celebrate people's lives. In some Buddhist traditions, memorial services are performed to accrue merit for deceased loved ones and bring about a favorable rebirth. But Shinran had a different view. He taught that the question of liberation is truly settled for Shin Buddhist followers and that they realize great, complete nirvana at the end of this life. There is nothing that family and friends need to do to bring about this result. Therefore, Eitaikyo is an opportunity for the living to express reverence for the life and actions of those who have died and to make donations for the continuing cultivation of the Dharma. At our temple, our Eitaikyo Fund has been growing, but we are only to use those funds if there's a dire emergency, and it's just to make sure that the temple survives. And I spoke with Jerry today, and he said, we've never had to use it, even though we've come close, maybe. So the Eitaikyo Fund that has been donated to for years and years, as long as the temple has been going, is still growing in funds and is there if our temple ever needs it. So it is for the perpetual existence of the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. So at that point, Sensei is now going to read the names of those who have donated to the Eitaikyo Fund, and if there are any families whose names are called, please come up and offer Oshoko.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeannie. Yeah, I will read these names, if I may. those of us who are on the Eitaikyo list. I'll only read the names of those of us who've already passed away. So I have it, when I first got here, I didn't know who was who, and I read we have the list of the people who paid ahead over here. So if I call your name by mistake, come up and tell me. But if you want someone else in your family to be on the list who has passed on, there is no minimum donation. It's just, this is a very old tradition of a way to support the temple. So any donation designated to Eitaikyo, and we will put their name on this list. So if I may, I will begin. Those of us on the Eitaikyo list for the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, starting with Akita Hiraku, Aoyaki Kashiki, Aoyaki Mitsuyo, Doi Douglas, Doi Catherine, Doi Monie, Doi Norio, Doi Setsuyo, Doi Takuji, Domen Sekio, Fujikawa Kyo, Fujikawa Sekino, Fujimoto Hajime, Fujimoto Nobuo, Fujimoto Senzo, Fujimoto Shizuko, Fujimoto Yasuo, Fujiwara Seitetsu, Fujiwara Senkichi, Fukumoto Jo, Fukumoto Ritsu, Goto Choichi, Goto Hisayo, Goto Kazuo, Goto Kyoichi, Goto Shigeo, Goto Takaichi, Hamada Hiroshi, Hamada Shigeo, Hamano Masashi, Hamano Yukie, Harabe Kazuaki, Hatakeyama Mary Satomi, Hatakeyama Mineto, Hayama Yone Kichi, Hayashi Emiko, Hida Yuko, Hino Ito, Hino no Kichi, Hirakawa Hisano, Hirakawa Hyakutaro, Hiramoto Fujie, Hiramoto Keizo, Hirose Shigeru, Hisashiro Tane, Hata Masayuki, Inada Tomishaku, Ishida Kiyoshi, Ishida Shizuko, Ishikawa Kikuyo, Ishikawa Toshio, Ito Koshu, Ito Shigeo, Ito Toshiko, Iwamoto Yoshiko, Jewel, Wanda Jane O'Gorman Jewel, Kakimoto Harumi, Kakimoto Teshin, Kanebayashi Tanejiro, Kawahara Hanosuke, Kawahara Kazuo, Kawahara Kumataro, Kawahara Mosaku, Kawahara Toki, Kawamoto Frank, Kawamoto Chiyoko, Kawamoto Kohei, Kawamoto Kumajiro, Kawamoto Rikizo, Kawamoto Yoichi, Kawasaki Matsuko, Kawashima Fumi, Kawashima Haru, Kawashima Juin, Kawashima Michika, Kikawa Kyoto, Kikawa Robert, Kikawa Shoji, Kikawa Alice, Kikawa Shizue, Kikawa Yoshie, Kimura Kazue, Kiriyama Aki, Kiriyama Masaichi, Kiriyama Takashi, Kiriyama Taketoshi, Konishi Tomi, Kuramoto Kaoru, Kuramoto Kazue, the Kuraoka family, Kurashita Satoko, Kurashita Shigeru, Makinouchi Osamu, Masumoto Ichiro, Masumoto Tameo, Matsudaira Kengo, Matsumoto Fukujiro, Miho Shizue, Minamoto Kome, Miyashita Nobuichi, Morihiro Misako, Morimoto Momoyo, Morishita Magozaemon, Morishita Tsuta, Muraki Mikio, Muraki Soyo, Nagai Yu, Nagatani Kayo, Nagayama Hichiro, Nagayama Kamino, Naito Imakichi, Naito Imao, Naito Keizuichi, Naito Keizuchi, Naito Mutsue, Naito Sasako, Naito Tero, Nakanishi Shigeo, Nakanishi Yukiko, Nakaoka Kaoru, Nakaoka Mio, Nakashima Eitaro, Nakashima Nui, Nakata Terry, Nishi Takeshi, Nishikawa Chieko, Nishikawa Mutsue, Nishikawa Tokuichi, Nishimoto George Yukio, Nishimoto George Yukio, Kaoru, Nishimoto Kaoru, Nishimoto Masako, Nishimoto Masao, Nishimoto Mine, Nishimoto Osamu, Nishimoto Shigeko, Nishimura Ki, Noda Satoru, Numa Toranosuke, Ogawa Kameichi, Ogawa Kiku, Ogawa Kunai, Ogura Sada, Ogura Tomie Rosemary, Ogura Yukichi, Oki Mio, Oki Saichi, Okumoto Hinayo, Okumoto Kosako, Okuno Matsuno, Okuno Nisaku, Omokawa Kanichi, Omokawa Tonoyo, Omori Daisuke, Otake Torao, Otani Bob, Otani Hamako, Otani Kazuo, Otani Kazuyoshi, Oyama Toshiaki, Sakahara Isamu, Sakahara Yaiko. Sakai Noboru. Sano Hanae. Sato Henry Yoshio. Severance Eugenia Marie. Shigeishi Edith Tayoko. Shigeishi James. Shigeno Kazue. Shigeru Jack. Shintaku Minori. Shoda Genjiro. Sugasawara Matsu. Sugasawara Tatsunosuke. Sugihara Chieko. Sugihara Edward. Sugimoto Rudy. Sugimoto Masa. Sugita Jiro. Sugita Matsue. Sugita Miki. Sugita Shinroku. Sunada Akira. Sunada Kenneth. Sunairi Chieko. Sunairi Kane. Sunairi Shigeru. Sunairi Tsunekichi. Takeda Seichiro. Takenaka Kengo. Takenouchi Shinichi. Tamahama Koji. Tarumoto Hatsue. Tarumoto Naoichi. Tatakeyama Tatomi. Tokimori Yoshimatsu. Tokinobu Itaro. Tokinobu Kimi. Tsukida Shiki. Tsukimoto Mary Yoshie. Tsukimoto Tarashi. Tsukimoto Yoshie. Uchiyama Hichiro. Uchiyama Hiroshi. Umedake Senzo. Wakabayashi Nobuki. Wakasa Akira. Wakasa Hisashi. Wakasa Iwao. Wakasa Kihei. Wakasa Kyozo. Wakasa Mitsue. Yamada Kunikichi. Yamada Takuhichi. Yamaguchi Tetsuko. Yamamoto Giko. Yamanaka Dennis. Yamanaka Mari. Yamanaka Moss. Yamanaka Michiko. Yamane Akira. Yamane Genkichi. Yamane George. Yamane Isuyo. Yamane Katsutaro. Yamane Me. Yamane Miyako. Yamane Seiichi. Yamane Shigeo. Yamane Tadao. Yamane Tatsuo. Yamane Tsune. Yamasaki Etsuzo. Yamasaki Jun. Yamasaki Matsuo. Yamasaki Nao. Yamasaki Satoko. Yamasaki Soyo. Yamasaki Yayoi. Yamasaki Yoshimasa. Yamashita Kozo. Yamashita Mine. Yoneda Itoshi. Yonesawa Kinichi. Yonesawa Yoshio. Yonesawa Yukuyo. Yoshida Hiroe. These are the names of those loved ones who passed before us, who we have kept onto the Eitaikyo list thanks to their families making a special donation. on the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei, for reading all the names. Kathy, for keeping the music going. I think some of us that have been here for a while, as the names are called, I think a lot of us remember a lot of those people who have passed on before us and who have given us the temple as it is now. And we're really grateful for all the work that they had done and have made the donation to make sure that this Pasadena temple continues. So at this time, Sensei is going to have to sit down.
Yeah.
And I hope you have water. There's a lot of talking for you today.
There's water somewhere, don't worry.
We're going to have the announcement of service in Sanbujo, which is on page 29, which will be followed by the Sanbutsug Sutra chanting on page 33.
Today, on this occasion of the year 2022 Eitaikyo Service, the members of the Pasadena Buddhist Temple, our families and our friends reverently gather in the presence of Amida Buddha and renew our reliance upon the three treasures of the truth. We rely upon the Buddha, we rely upon the Dharma, we rely upon the Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. We will now chant Sanbujo, inviting all positive influence into the room and into our lives. Bujo mi ida nyolai niundo jo san ge Bujo Shaka Nyolai Niundo Jo Sange La Bujo Jipo Nyolai Niundo Jo Sange La Today, on this occasion of the 2022 Eitaikyo Service, we will use the liturgy of the Sanbutsug. 大無量寿教三仏芸高原義義異人無極妙税縁妙無用当社一月間に修行縁用開始のpe有脈樹木如来有限調整無輪小学大音交流実法開門精進三昧知恵意徳無量修正経由人体連年小仏崩壊愚人人の空言外体無明欲ぬ低尊読む人の死死人徳無量空君広大知恵人妙光明意相神道大仙神が差仏大小波動生じ未不下脱不定上位大人精進妙で三昧知恵以上合成特仏不行志願一切空空一切大安決し無仏百千億万無量大小修行王者空用一切死と小仏不尿愚道検証不逆奇妙語者小仏世界無風影無臭鮮道光明師匠天使小国行で精進異人難量両が差仏国土第一五種奇妙上場調節国領内音二無東祖ガト愛民道達一切地方来所新熱症状意図が国経楽安穏公仏神妙税が神聖おつがん王妃力小小欲実法生存知恵無下上量子孫知が神行軽量心死食毒中家業精進人寿不敬ナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブガニシクドク平等性一切道のない真法如あら国ナマンダブルマンダナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブルマンダナモミダブツナモダブツナモミダブツナモダブツ
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Shoko by our organizations are representatives of our organizations, starting with our youth groups. Buddhist Women's Association. Pasadena Buddhist Temple. Thank you. Next, we'll have our Dharma message by Reverend Gibbs.
Again, good morning. Thank you for attending in person, those of you who could, and thank you for joining us in cyberspace, those of you who could not, were not able to be with us in person this morning. This is kind of the season of gratitude. You know, we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and so listening to a long list of people's names written could be not very meaningful and could be tiresome, or could be very meaningful if you're thinking, these are the people who built this temple, these are the people who built this community, this is why we're here, this is how I was here. So I'm not trying to lay it on you that you got to think that way, but I'm saying that I have come to think that way, to where when I'm visiting another temple and I read the Eitaikyo Service, I listen to every name. And I go, yeah, him, yeah, her, yeah, she helped, yeah, he did that, yeah, they helped make this. So, it's a kind of learned skill. It's like appreciating the Sutra chanting. A lot of people aren't crazy about Sutra chanting. You get used to it after a while until it starts to feel nice, until the fact that we're all doing it together feels good. But that's kind of an aside before I begin. And this now will be the official Dharma message. This never happens when I'm here. I know, I found it like on the floor when I got here after last week. Thank you again for attending this service. This is our Eitaikyo Service for the year 2022 here at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. We dedicate this service to all those past members of this temple, family and friends, who have preceded us into the great mystery of death and rebirth. We dedicate this service to all our deceased loved ones. We read the names of those who made a special donation to the Eitaikyo Fund. I've told you about this before. I won't go into it this year, but we're one of the last denominations of Japanese Buddhism to have Eitaikyo. The idea came up in Zen and Tendai and Shingon, and finally it was really the pressure from the lay people that said, hey, all these other temples have this service, so how come you don't do it? So we added it just about 100 years ago. I think this is the last service of our half-dozen major services. This is the last one to have been added to the liturgical calendar of Nishihonganji. So we do really mean to dedicate this service to all the past members of this temple, but it was developed as a fundraiser for the temples in Japan, and so it also has that meaning. As you've seen, reading the names takes some time. I'm going to do the handheld approach here today. Reading the names takes some time, and if we read all the names of everyone connected to all of us, whoever passed away, I mean, when we start looking deep into it, That's like millions of people. So we can't read the millions of names of everybody who was necessary for us to be here. But we do read the names of those members of the temple and friends of the temple who have made a special donation. There is no minimum donation. So if you want your name on the list, you give me $1 and you can put your name on the list, and I'll try to remember not to call it before you pass. I almost called Mark Owini's name this time. We got to revise the list. Most of them show that this person's still living there off to the right, but Mark's is right there in the middle. So, Mark, I'm sure you're well at home listening to this. Again, the service title, Eitaikyo, means something like to continue the teachings into the indefinitely distant future generations. Something like that. The meaning is to support this temple and its mission in sharing the Buddha Dharma, even as this temple helps to preserve the memory of our loved ones. My mother's name is on the Shosuke-Holo list, and I'll get her on the Eitaikyo before next year. I forgot to do it this year. It's a way of remembering those we love. We want to keep our loved ones' names, for example, our parents' names, and memories alive for a little longer, in part because they taught us values which make us who we are. Now, we each continue to decide and create who we are over time. We do this in part by joining and helping to preserve institutions that reflect, expand, and undergird those values. The Pasadena Buddhist Temple is an institution that we are nurtured by and which most of us want to keep available for others. How long can we sustain this temple? Not forever. Buddhists never talk forever. I avoid the term infinite too, and as does Nakagawa-sensei and most of my colleagues, but we definitely don't talk forever. We can preserve this temple and this Buddhist community for many more decades. We can, you bet. Probably, in reality, we can preserve this temple for some more centuries, many more centuries. I really think we'll be here in 300 years. If people are on the planet still 300, if we can still breathe here, if the water can still be drunk, if there's still food that doesn't poison us, 300 years we'll probably be here. But not forever, not forever. Definitely through the end of next year. We're here without question through the end of next year. And that could be enough. That could be long enough. Another 13 months of this institution being conserved could be enough for it to be a platform for your coming to deep trust in this teaching. Some other religions tell you to have faith in their platforms. We suggest that you reflect every now and then and see if you find trust in this vision that the Buddha shared with us. Reflect every now and then and see if you have confidence in this Nembutsu gate into awakening. This temple, the community that keeps it alive, and the spiritual vision that is shared here will be preserved through the end of next year, through the end of many coming years, through the end of many coming years. Each day this tradition persists is a new day for trusting, a fresh chance to appreciate the fundamental goodness of life. Buddhism is about awakening to goodness and entrusting to the goodness which we discover in life. This tradition is reliable, our teachings are trustworthy. The Nembutsu gate opens out into the goodness of life that is always here. Some religious paths seem to be about themselves, about being special and breaking away from the crowd. Our path is about returning to this life trustingly, joining the crowd. Buddhism is about being part of this community, this larger community, this community and the larger community of persons in North America, the larger community of living beings on the planet Earth. We preserve this temple and this community in part to honor our loved ones who are gone now. We preserve this tradition most especially because it links us back to this life and renews our confidence in living our lives here. Of course, there's a lot more to be said, a lot more I could say today, but I won't. This morning, in closing the Dharma message portion of our Eitaikyo Service for the year 2022 in Pasadena, California, I want you to relax and trust in goodness. Every good thing you know came out of this world. Every good thing you know came from this planet. We can trust this planet. There is a renewal process that the Buddha realized and became part of. We are waking up. Living beings on this planet are waking up. I want you to relax and to trust in goodness. Buddhism isn't about Buddhism. Buddhism always points us back to our lives. That's what the Buddha Dharma is about, our lives, living our lives. This temple and this tradition encourage you to trust in this life. Goodness emerges from this life. The lotus grows out of this muddy little planet. This beautiful blue planet is the mud out of which the lotus of awakening blooms. The lotus of goodness grows. Every good thing we know, again, came out of this life and out of this planet. There is goodness in this world. Every warm experience we have ever had, we had here on planet Earth with other humans and animals. This too is the lotus land. Remembering our deceased parents, remembering some of us, for some of us, our deceased life partners, remembering for some of you, children who have passed ahead of you. May we settle down into this Buddhist tradition. Can we dig our feet in and preserve this tradition, retain our love for those who we've bonded with, and move forward? I hope we can all stay with this tradition and be nurtured by it, nurtured by this temple, this community, this Buddhist tradition, until one day we saw what the Buddha did, that this is the place of all places. And no one has gone away. They're all still here. No one has gone away. They're all still here waiting for us to awaken. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I will close the Dharma message portion of this, the service here very shortly. I know you. By saying Oshoko. 1950s technology is so complex. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Nanlamidabutsu, 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 Nanlamidabutsu.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message and for wrestling with our microphone.
I won.
Yes. Next, if you'll join me and rise to sing together from page 132, Mihotoke ni Idakarete. Sensei and I both decided this is a hard title to read. But it's Mihotoke
the old timers know that our temples used to use this one for funerals when people thought Nadame was too hard. This is not easy. Just hit the
page 132.
Hit the vowels, it'll be okay. Mihotoke ni Idakarete Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu. Please be seated.
Thank you. And so this comes to we're at the end of our service. So a few announcements after service. Toban 1 and the BWA have prepared otoki, a small snack. So please join us in the classroom, the garden classroom, after you leave here. Let's see. Next Saturday is the yakisoba bingo sake tasting event. You could choose to do all three or just a couple of them. And I will be looking for help starting Thursday to help cut and prepare stuff. And Saturday we'll need help from about 2:30. I'm still taking orders for dinner. We still have room for dinner. The other thing is See's Candy Sale is due this week? The 24th. So you have 2 more weeks to decide on what kind of See's candy you want to give to your friends. The order forms are in the back. The other thing that is coming up is an Invisible Tea House Full Moon Lecture and a tea ceremony. They're going to have the ceramics workshop on Friday, December 9th. That's the night that it's only a limited number of people who can do this, but they're going to have the clay and we'll form our own tea bowls, which will then be fired and ready for us when we come back for the tea ceremony in January. So if you're interested in doing this Invisible Tea House Full Moon Raku tea ceremony, please pick up one of these flyers from the back and register online and participate with all of these festivities, I guess, that are coming up. Any other announcements? Oh, silent auction is open. So if you haven't gone there to look, there's a lot of wonderful things to order. Along with the silent auction, we have the kamaboko orders are due pretty soon, so please get your New Year's kamaboko, sashimi, and unagi order forms in. And if you've gone to a Japanese market, you're going to know that the prices that we have are really, really, really good. Really good. So this is a good time to get a discount without having to stand in line someplace. So the other announcement is if you would like to offer incense because you did not get a chance to before you came in, the incense is lit, and any donation is always welcome either at the front or we have a bako, the box in the back. Okay? Or online, you could donate online. We have 2 weeks before we think about that. But yes, temple cleanup is December the 3rd, and we'll take anybody's physical capabilities to dust or wash or pull weeds. Hopefully it'll be raining again, and then it'll be nice and easy to pull up weeds. Marvin.
Again, good morning. My name is Marvin Inoue, and I'm a volunteer at the Japanese American National Museum, and I just want to remind every week I'm going to try to do it to remind people. If you, this book was created called the Ide, and it is a document that looks like the Gutenberg Bible. It's so thick, but it has all the names of everyone that was ever incarcerated during World War II. I didn't realize it, but there were over 75 sites across the United States that incarcerated Japanese during that time. And they are allowing ancestors to make an appointment. You call to make a reservation to go in and stamp the book to honor your ancestors that were in any of the camps. And sometimes it'll amaze you that they were not just in one camp, they were moved around to different camps. But the way they've got it set up, it helps if when you make your reservation to know your ancestor's birth date. It's not by alphabetical order for some reason. And you gotta know the birth date, and if you happen to know where they were incarcerated, that's a good starting point, okay? Thank you very much. Yes, I did say, excuse me, you do have to make reservations to go in and sign the book. Oh, yeah. They've already almost booked for November, so you have to make it for the future. What's happening is that some people are coming in from out of state and they think they can go in and sign the document, and they cannot. They have to make an appointment in advance. Sometimes you can make an appointment, but it's really unusual. So plan ahead.
Talk to Martin later if you need more information.
Yes, correct.
Jeannie, can you close this?
Oh, do I have a close? Oh, yes. Sorry, I have a closing message. Everybody's reminding me what I'm supposed to do. So if you just put your hands in Gasho for me, please. This is called the eternal now. In the beginningless, endless flow of time, each life is a mere ripple, existing only for an instantaneous moment and disappearing forever. But each life is a unique experience with beauty and truth all of its own, with no identical counterpart in history and none absolutely the same in the future. Your life, my life, is attuned to the rhythm of the cosmos and to the heartbeat of reality. Each life exists in the eternal now. Reverend Kenyu Tsuji. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. And thank you for joining us today. And again, if you'd like to offer incense before you depart, please join us in the garden room, and we will have pulled pork sandwiches. Thank you.
Yeah, just thanks to Jeannie for chairing and to Kathy for playing organ and to all of you for attending. Please do stop by and get a snack before you go.